Old model steamboats in poor condition, part 15. This boat is not an open launch type, it is a steamship model. The boiler's safety valve needs to exhaust outside the boat. Initially, I fitted a pipe union connector to the Stewart safety valve in order to pipe the steam out of the way, but this was a fail. I used a better method, followed by making some boiler bands. I show the newly silver-soldered chimney extension tube and make a special pipe fitting to connect the condenser to the chimney. In this clip, I'm replacing the safety valve, which is a standard Stewart model safety valve. I don't like these, and I'm fitting it because it was fitted to the boiler in the first place. But then I realised that it's no good because it's going to need a pipe extension to take the steam from within the hull to the outside of the hull. So immediately after fitting the safety valve, I removed it. I'm going to try a modification which may or may not be successful. So it's over now to the lathe to drill a hole all the way down the centre of the valve. And I'm going to thread this hole 5/16 by 32 threads per inch. And luckily I already had a double union, so I modified this to fit in the top of the valve. And I'm using the milling cutter to just mill a recess to locate the spring. So when it was all fitted together, it looked like this. And the principle is now I can connect a pipe to this, which will connect in turn to the pipe that goes up the side of the chimney on the superstructure. The pressure gauge has to be fitted this way in order to make it simple to read the pressure. And please note that a pressure gauge siphon does not have to be the U shape that you normally see them in. As long as it's a length of pipe, water will condense in the pipe and therefore the pressure gauge will not be damaged by the hot steam. In this clip I have some compressed air pipe to the boiler and I'm testing the safety valve and trying different springs in an attempt to stop the safety valve from making the usual horrible noise and blowing off all the time. I tried various stainless steel ball and spring combinations and in the end I gave up on it. So instead of the Stewart model safety valve, I fitted a Jubilee fitting safety valve. This is a pop type safety valve, so it blows off and then it goes pop as it shuts. Jubilee fitting safety valves are available from my friends at Blackgates Engineering, and the web address is currently on screen. To evacuate the steam from within the hull, I'm just going to make a fitting that slides over the top of this safety valve, held in place by a couple of O-rings, just like I did before when I rebuilt one of the other boats for the same customer. So the boiler is all ready for steam. It's completely airtight. When I disconnected the air supply and shut the valve, the pressure remained at 60 pounds per square inch, and when I opened the valve, obviously the pressure disappeared. In this clip, I'm cutting a piece of brass boiler banding to shape. And boiler banding is also available from Blackgates Engineering. There's no great skill involved in making boiler bands, you just have to make sure that the boiler banding is cut to the correct length. The boiler banding needs to overlap by about 1/4 inch. Then you remove the piece of boiler banding and drill a hole in each end. Here's a good tip though, do not make both of the boiler bands at the same time. Make the first one and then use that as a pattern to copy the length onto the second piece of brass. And that way you will get boiler bands that are exactly the same size. I always make sure to remove the sharp edges of boiler bands so I don't cut my fingers. In this clip you can see me trimming the ends of the boiler bands using my 1-inch belt sander. These vertical 1-inch belt sanders are a really good addition to the workshop. I use this one most of the time. So with 2 boiler bands exactly the same length, with holes drilled in the end of them in exactly the same place, I just use a pair of pliers to bend over the ends and then a 10BA bolt to go between them. And to finish off the job so there's not a long piece of bolt sticking out underneath the boiler, I use my small Barco spanner to snap off the excess thread. These 10BA nuts and bolts are quite small, so be very careful not to drop them on the floor. You will need a very fine screwdriver to hold the bolt in place whilst using a nut spinner to tighten the nut, and of course do not over tighten these, they're not very strong at all. Once again I'm snapping off the excess, but I'm not throwing away these pieces of excess 10BA thread. I put them back in the box with the bolts because you never know, I may need to make some 10BA studs in the future. So this is what the boiler now looks like. Normally on a boiler of this size I would use 3 boiler bands, but in this case I'm using the original boiler band which will hold the boiler in place on the mounting inside the boat. The next component to look at is the chimney extension. This is a little bit rough, but believe me, when I first got the boat to repair, it was a bit rougher. It had been soft soldered, the soft solder had melted, and it was just a mess. So I re-silver soldered it, and it's not the neatest silver soldering job I've ever done, but it will be more than adequate for the intended application. This part fits into the end of the boiler's flue tube at one end, and the other end points up the chimney. The next job to do is to make a specially shaped piece of pipe that takes the exhaust from the condenser, and with the help of a long copper pipe, it will direct the exhaust steam up the chimney. In this clip, using a felt tip pen, I'm marking a line in the middle of the condenser, and this will show me the position where I need to fit the upright pipe that goes all the way through the chimney extension and up the chimney itself. I was going to use a PM Research elbow, but then I thought, no, I'll make something different. So I put a square piece of brass into the 4-jaw self-centering chuck that's fitted to my Smart & Brown lathe, and I'm just turning down the end to make the part just look better. It's cosmetic only. I don't really need to do this. I could just leave the end square and silver solder the pipes into that, but I thought, well, if I turn it down and make a round bit, it will look better. And so the usual procedure: first of all, a centre drill. A centre drill is a short stubby drill so it doesn't wander about, followed by using a 1/4 inch diameter twist drill to drill the hole that's going to accept the copper pipe that's going to be silver soldered in there. I'm not drilling too far down this part because when I part it off, I don't want to have a hole at the other end. Although if that happened, it's not the end of the world. I would just make a simple plug that went in the hole, and then when I silver soldered the pipe into it, I would also silver solder the plug. But in this case, I don't think I'll need to do that because it's parting off at the right distance. I don't often say this, but here's one I prepared earlier. This is the complete assembly, with the bent pipe that fastens to the condenser, the adapter in the middle, and the long pipe that goes all the way up the chimney. I'd like to show you how the exhaust pipe turned out. Here it is on the bench. The curved pipe comes out of the condenser, and it's silver soldered to the brass block, which in turn is silver soldered to the long pipe that goes up through a hole underneath the chimney extension. Very soon all of these components will be fitted into the hull. It's nearly that time when I need to float the boat and fit the ballast. And that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.